So in this part of the tutorial, we're going to add some more fields to our form. We're going to then add a save button. And once that save button is pressed, we want to take the values from our form and make it appear on a different screen on our app. Hopefully this will demonstrate a few different features that you can use when building out your own app. So to start, let's add another field, another control to this form. So I've got a name field here already. Let's say I want to collect a bit more information from a user. So I'm going to drag in a Bootstrap 4 text area. And let's position it. So we want to keep our design tidy. So we've decided that we're going to keep our alignment to left 25 pixels. And we want our width to be auto, that's good. And from the right, let's make it full width. So again, we want 25 pixels space on the right-hand side. If we do that, then our text area will be full width. Let's make it a bit taller, which is more suited to a text area. And there we go. This is a text area now where you can enter, our user can enter a bit more information. Okay, so let's change the some details here just to keep our code tidy. The header, which is the label, let's actually make that something meaningful. So we'll say enter a comment here. So this could be a form of any type requesting a comment. ID, we'll leave it as text area 1 for now. And we have a placeholder value. We can leave that there. It doesn't hurt. So we'll leave that there as a placeholder text. And when the user starts typing, that will be removed. Okay, so this is a simple form. Let's just bear in mind keeping our project tidy. From previous steps, we have a label that's currently invisible because it has no values. Let's keep that, but let's move it down out of the way. Okay, and we've maintained the position, so it's still aligned, the width is auto. So we'll keep that label there. We'll move it down even further, in fact, because what we want to add below our text area is a button. So we will add a Bootstrap 4 button. There we go. Okay, so let's just make sure our alignment is right. So from the left, we'll change that to 25 pixels. We don't have to have this full width. We could have it half width, for example. Let's, for the sake of consistency, let's make it full width as we have done for the other controls. So from the right, we'd have 25 again, and width auto. And then we go to full width. We can also adjust the height, so make it slightly larger. And again, from a usability point of view, we have to remember if users are using this app on a mobile device, we want buttons and inputs to be easy to press. We don't want them to be small and difficult to locate with our fingers. So generally speaking, bigger buttons is normally a good thing from a usability point of view. So let's customize this button. We can change the appearance, so the current appearance is default, but we can actually change this to one of the other Bootstrap classes. So for example, if we change it to warning, it is the orange color, danger is red. But let's go with success, which is a nice green. So this is built-in Bootstrap styling. Let's now go down to the ID. Let's call it button save, so it makes more sense than just button 1. The value, well, we want the text to be save. Okay, so this makes more sense now. It's a save button. We can also increase the font size if we wanted to. So let's go with 18 or even 20. And then we've got a larger sort of save text there on our button. Okay, so we'll leave that there in terms of the customization. So we've got the start of a nice simple form. So let's see how this looks in the browser just before we move any further. So let's start in desktop browser. Okay, so that looks good. We've got our name field here, and we've got some comment text area here. And if we type in, we can see the placeholder disappears. If we delete that, then the placeholder comes back. From a previous functionality, we've still got as we type, we've got the value from name appearing in the label down here. We're going to leave that there as a piece of functionality. It's not doing any harm, but if we didn't need it anymore, it would be wise to remove that control and also the code associated with it. So let's go back to AppStudio. So as a recap, we've built our form, and when we hit the save button, we want to grab the contents or the input of these two fields, and then we want to make it appear on our second screen, or our form 2. So let's switch over to form 2. And this is very basic. We've got a label in the middle. We're going to delete this now because we're going to start adding some other content to this form. So we'll right click and delete. So now we've got an empty form. What I'm going to do is drag in a Bootstrap 4 label. And let's align it. So left, we're going to go 25, width auto, and right 25. Let's give it a bit of a larger height. Now, you'll want to note that the header and navigation hamburger menu don't appear in our editor, our visual editor, even though we've implemented some code that makes sure that our header will appear on each form. So what we need to bear in mind is that we need to leave a gap at the top here, because we know when the app actually runs, we will have a header and navigation menu here. So if we move the label all the way up to the top, this will be hidden by our header, and we wouldn't want that. So we need to make sure we leave a little bit of space further down. So in moving that, I've just messed up the left alignment slightly. So let's tweak that back, and there we go. Let's now tidy up some of the properties. We will leave it as, well, let's call it label results, because we're going to take the input from the form and update it on this label. The value, let's put a placeholder value. Results will show here. So we'll put this in place because if we switch to form 2 without having done anything on form 1, at least the user will be given an idea of what would show here rather than just being given a blank page. So again, we have to think about usability. So we now have this Bootstrap label. It's called label results. So we can now go back to our form 1 and have a look at how we can hook up this form to then populate the content of that label on our form 2. So we want to connect the functionality to the save button because it will kick in when we click on save. So let's right click on save and go to event, and we'll do an on click event. And this automatically creates a function for us. Okay, so we have from a previous example, we know the principle is that we can populate the inner HTML of a label from any value we want. So why don't we just copy this line here for convenience? But this time, what's the label that we're going to be referencing? Well, it's not label name, it's actually label results. So let's change that in that code. So label results.inner HTML equals, and what input will we be referencing? Well, it's still text input name, so we'll leave that as it is. What we'd also like to add is the value from the text area. So text area 1. And let's double check the property that we're going to use. We'll go with value in the same way that we used it for the input. So let's just recap this. The button save, when we click on it, it will execute this line of code. This line of code will get the name input value and also the text area value, and put these two values together and inject them into the inner HTML of that label on our form 2. So let's see how this behaves. So let's save and run. Okay, so let's type John, and here is a comment. Okay, let's click save. Okay, so nothing seems to have happened, but let's see if anything has happened on form 2. Okay, and our label is actually updated with the content. So we've got a name, and then here is a comment. Okay, now there's a couple of issues with this. So let's go back to the home. When I hit save, we had no confirmation that it's saved. So that's an obvious usability issue, and we'll fix that shortly. The other issue is, if we want this content to be nicely formatted, we don't want it to be stuck together on the same line and with no space. So what we can do, let's go back to the code. Here we've stitched two values together, but what we can actually do is put something in between, and we can add a string, and what we can actually add is some HTML, and this is a break tag, an HTML break tag, and what this does, it adds a new line. So the inner HTML of a label, you can actually add any HTML that you want. So let's see if this works. So we'll save, and we'll go back to the browser and refresh. So we'll just check here. Yep, so we've refreshed the app, so the values were lost, and we can see that the kind of default label text here, results will show here, is appearing on that label. Let's go back to the home, add my name, comment here, hit save. We don't know whether everything's worked yet until we go to form 2. And we have an issue, which we'll see if we can troubleshoot. So it seems to still be on the same line. So let's have a look into that now. Okay, so looking back at the code, does anything look wrong? Well, if we're confident, we think the code looks okay, which this does. The break tag is fine. We've got the plus signs. It seems to work okay. Now, what could be the matter? Well, sometimes in the browser, we need to force a refresh. So sometimes the app won't fully update. So to do so, on Windows, a good way to force a full refresh is Control-Shift-R. So if we do Control-Shift-R, or an alternative way is to close this tab and then rerun it from AppStudio. Now let's see if it behaves any differently. So let's type my name in again. And here is a comment again. Let's hit save. Let's go to form 2. And okay, so now it's working. That's good. So what we've got here, we've got the input, the name on the first line, and then we've got a comment on the second line. So our app has taken shape. We've started to do something, but there are a few usability issues which we picked up on earlier. One of which is when we hit save, it doesn't confirm that anything actually has happened. So in the next video, let's have a look at how we can improve upon that.